G'day ladies and gentlemen, my name is Locked and welcome back to the channel, and in today's video guys I'm bringing you some War Thunder gameplay. I haven't actually posted any War Thunder gameplay on the channel ever so far, and I thought this was a good opportunity to post them up because I finally decided to get back into War Thunder. I've been playing it for a few years, ever since like the closed beta really. I just haven't been very good at it. And I took some time off a while ago to get into like World of Warships and Armored Warfare, and just War Thunder just sat there, and as each update came out I just sort of forgot about it really. So this is my first game back in War Thunder. It's in a realistic battle. I'm playing it as, or in the Hurricane Mk IIb. Is it Era 1 or Era 2? I think it's early Era 2 British fighter. And we're on the Bastogne map. Now I've taken a little while to get up in the air because War Thunder has messed up my realistic controls with the latest updates. It's forgotten them, I guess. So yeah, I had to take some time to fix that. That's why my landing gear was up when I was obviously clear of the runway. So I start climbing in the Hurricane and start heading towards the battle. Now I want to put out a disclaimer that I am not a good War Thunder pilot. I make a very costly mistake in this battle in particular. This battle actually ends out to be a loss because of this mistake that I make. But it is by far my best War Thunder battle ever. I flew pretty well, I got a lot of kills, and besides from that one mistake, it was pretty good in my opinion. So our first targets are popping up. Our team is proxy spotting for us. We are in a tier 1 battle. As you can see on screen, there are a lot of HE51s. There's a CR42 down there, a HE112. That I think is the first variant, the V variant, and there's also a G50 up high somewhere. Just taking a look around, seeing the sights. Yeah, haven't played on War Thunder in a while. Again, just still getting used to it. There's a G50 out there. Watch that G50. He becomes very crucial in the as the battle progresses. Now this team that I was playing with, and the enemy team as well, wasn't entirely great. Mind you, it is a tier 1 realistic battle. You're going to expect some noobs, but they literally could not keep their planes in the air this game, and a lot of them just end up crashing out. I think I'm the only person bar one to actually get a kill in this game. So I'll select my target, HE51. And first kill. Now if you notice there, the HE51 pilot, he had the title Knight. Now basically what the Knight title is he's completed I think 90% of the British tech tree. So he is at least up to Jets. Now it's a pretty costly mistake there, putting into the vertical and stalling out, presented himself to for me. But he was definitely, if I had kept him alive, he probably would have been a very dangerous player. I loop back around to engage the next lot of enemies. We have a CR42 and two HE51s. I dive on the HE51 that's separated from the group. Get a little scared here, thought the CR42, who's also a Knight, was coming in to take a shoot at me. Didn't, just followed through onto his target on the Buffalo, and I take out the other HE51. Get some distance by myself and the fight. Notice that my teammates are in a bit of a trouble here. Biplanes are very maneuverable, and the Buffalo, while also maneuverable, they are not as maneuverable as biplanes. Really nothing is, except other biplanes obviously. So I pick at my target. I was going to go after the CR42 as I noticed he had the Knight logo, but you'll see in a second here that the HE51 actually presents a better target for me, and I believe that Buffalo there is actually more heavily damaged than the other one. So lock onto the HE51, he turns, presents himself to me, and I get my third kill. Maneuver around to my left, check my 6, and notice that the CR42 has gone vertical and decided to fall in on my tail. I do the same. He tries to follow me through. The other Buffaloes get on his 6 and they take him out. So now we're only down to 4 enemy players remaining. The 2 that we can only spot though are the HE112 and the G50. The G50 is currently engaging a PBY at high altitude. The HE112 is currently engaging a Blenheim at low altitude. Now, the Hurricane isn't a very fast plane. It's got I guess a decent climb rate. Its wings produce most of the lift on this aircraft rather than the engine, obviously. So I decided to go after the HE112, and it turns out this is actually a very good decision, as you'll see in a second. I also went after the HE112 because I thought the 50 caliber machine guns on the PBY would be able to take out the G50. But if you'll see in a second here, the G50 actually is able to shoot down the PBY. There he goes. My F2As have decided to break off and strafe ground targets, and this is why the decision paid off. The last 2 guys, a BF-109E1 and a HE-51, are over in this direction. Now the BF-109 has crashed, but he is still counted as a living player in the battle, so I'm going to have to take him out soon anyway. But he's not going anywhere and he's not presenting himself a threat. So I go after the HE-51, who notices me just at the last second, tries to pull a maneuver, however, again, presents himself as a target, and my guns rip him to shreds. 4th kill. Now it's the time to deal with this HE112. It's currently engaging the Blenheim, and now that the Blenheim is drawing him closer to Bastogne, the other F2As are on the way. However, one of them has crashed. Now this is probably the most dangerous aircraft that the enemy had in their whole team. I mean, the BF-109 could have been dangerous if he didn't crash, but this guy is definitely the most dangerous player. I'm not sure at this moment in time if this HE112 is the one with the 20mm autocannon, so I'm taking it high and playing it very safe here. Now I thought he was turning in and trying to burst climb up and trying to get a shot on me. I don't want to get hit by that 20mm cannon, so I put it into a high dive angle, but I just realized he dives underneath me. Roll back over, start the dive, and the F2A decides to go head on with the HE112. Now, I'm not sure if the V variant is the one with the 20mm. I'm going to assume it is, but that is a very bad mistake for the Buffalo to make. But I dive on him, set him on fire, and then rip his wing off, and the Buffalo manages to get out of there alive as well. That is my 5th kill. Now there are only 2 players left on the enemy team, and there are now 3 players on our team. There we have a F2A, a Blenheim, and myself. The other players are either dead or crashed. I believe most of them crashed, just like the enemy team did. Now, I was contemplating here whether to go after the BF-109 and get him out of the battle so we don't have to come back for him, or go after the G50. The G50 was last spotted over Bastogne, strafing ground targets. I decided to go after the 109, but, well, you'll see. I lined myself up for a strafing shot, however, I haven't played War Thunder nor the Hurricane in a while to remember that the wings generate so much lift that this thing really can't pull negative G maneuvers. So I come back around and I'm thinking about going after him again. However, I decide not to. I decide to go help my wingman who's heading over back to Bastogne to try and get this G50. And this is sort of where I make my huge mistake. You can't see it, but I'm running on about 700 rounds of ammunition left. And I've got 12 guns. That's less than 100 rounds per gun. And these are pretty fast firing 7.7s. Now, I was honestly contemplating whether to head back to the runway, rearm, and then go after this G50 with a full load, or go after him with the load that I have. I should have enough rounds in my belts to take him out. However, my F2A has just crashed. I'm all alone out here with a G50. I've got the Blenheim, but he's gone back to base. He's going to rearm, and, well, he's a Blenheim. He's not going to be able to take out a fighter like a G50, which is very maneuverable, I found out in this battle. So this is where I'd make my final decision to go after the G50. I think he's back at the runway. Now, the G50 does have, I think, 50 caliber rounds, but Italian 50 caliber rounds don't do much damage, and the PBY can soak up a lot of damage from Italian 50s, and everyone else's 7.7s. So I knew he had to be at the runway rearming because he would have wasted all of his ammo. Now, I'm solely made this choice off me having enough rounds. I didn't bother to look at my fuel indicator. I'm on the other side of the map right now, in a very slow plane, with about 5 minutes of fuel left. And this is the mistake, and this is really, it's not a really costly mistake, but it does cost us the battle. Now I'm just zooming in to see if he is going in for a landing, if he is on the runway. I spot the dot down there, he's about to take off. I start flying and closing in. He is moving on the runway. Target confirmed. That is definitely him. Now I do have a little bit of a situational awareness failure here. I turn away for the second to look at the Blenheim, making sure just how far off he is. Start taking some fire from the base AA, but I lose track of the G50. I was expecting him to go over that town down there, that little village, and then across the ice creek. However, if you look to the north, he's now just crossing the ice creek. There he is. Can't see him now, he's off my screen. But I was looking in the complete wrong place. Now, I believed that I was dead certain he was down there. I didn't think he would see me, but obviously his AA opening up obviously did alert him to my presence, and he's taken off in a different direction. A very smart maneuver by the G50. But I spot him anyway, and I start closing in. The Hurricane, although it is slower, will catch a G50, and also will outrun it. But the G50 will outmaneuver it. Now I have heard reports of OP AAA, base AAA, in the latest patches of War Thunder, so I was taking some maneuvers not to get hit. I really don't want to get hit. If I do, the G50 will come in and swarm the Blenheim, and we'd obviously lose this match. So I do dive to get some speed. I'm at 460 kilometers an hour, but the G50 now has altitude on me. So now I have to lose a lot of that speed to try and get back up to his altitude. And this is where I realized that this guy isn't mucking around. He is a knight. He's completed or nearly completed the British tree. Now, again, I forget that the Hurricane does not like pulling negative maneuvers, and I waste a whole bunch of my ammo. At this point, I've only got about 60 rounds left. So I want to close in and make sure he's in my gun convergence. However, the G50 doesn't want that to happen. He notices that I'm catching him, and but he doesn't know how much ammo I have left. So he pulls a vertical maneuver, rolls over, try to get a shot on, doesn't happen. Now I'm basically down to 60 rounds, and we start going into a vertical spiral, circling downwards towards the ground. Now this is where I realize that the G50 is more maneuverable on me. He starts pulling in on my tail. So I do what Hurricane pilots don't normally do, and I run. Now, if you are in Hurricane, any variant of the Hurricane, this is probably not a good idea. Well, it's not a good idea if you're playing something like the Hurricane Mark 1C, sorry, or this plane up against 2.7 aircraft. This thing hasn't got a powerful engine, so it won't outrun most aircraft. However, at this tier, I'm basically faster than everyone except for that BF-109. I plot my course through the ice creek here, trying to gain lower altitude, but again, this thing's wings. I'm only just lowering altitude, and I've got the plane nose down at about 10 degrees. So, yeah. Not really gaining as much speed as I want to. Now, the G50 does go vertical for a second, and then dives back in to start gaining speed on me. Get a little bit worried here, and this is also where I notice my fuel. Now, I was going to head back to base anyway and try and rearm, but I didn't realize that my fuel was so low. I'm down to about 2 to 3 minutes here. I can't remember exactly how long I have left, but it's not a lot, and I was really contemplating whether I'll be able to get back to the airfield or not. So I call over my Blenheim to try and give me some support. Blenheim's turrets, from what I can remember, were actually pretty decent at taking out aircraft at this tier. Mind you, they're still 7.7mm machine guns, but they do have a very fast fire rate, especially its chin gun, which I believe can fire in a forward-facing direction. So as long as this Blenheim gets above the G50 and he's in front of him, he should be able to kill it. Now honestly, I thought the G50 was going to pull off and going after the Blenheim, but the G50 hasn't spotted the Blenheim yet. So what is he doing? I didn't notice until after I got back to the runway, but this G50 is actually going after the ground targets. We're currently winning in tickets, but the Blenheim's dropped his bombs to try and assist me. I've got no ammo, and I'm also outrunning the G50. Now mind you, he could follow me all the way back to his base, and he could probably strafe me while I was on the ground, but he has the risk of getting shot down by his base AAA. Now the reason why I didn't get shot down by the base AAA is because I was moving at above 400 kilometers an hour. The G50 would have to first gain altitude and then dive on me for that to happen, and he doesn't have enough time for me to get back to the he doesn't have enough time between the time I get back to the runway and now to actually climb at that altitude, so he breaks off and heads for the ground targets. Now by this time he's spotted the Blenheim, but he chooses not to go after him. He wants this win, he doesn't need any more kills. So he goes after the Blenheim, sorry, the ground targets, and there you go, bottom right corner you can see he's starting to destroy artillery. Now even still at this moment, I thought he was dogfighting with the Blenheim back there. I was more focused on watching my fuel counter, which is about 1 minute right now. The Blenheim buggers off. I don't know what the Blenheim's doing right now. I think he might be trying to turn in, but not really working out for him. So I'm nearly back at the runway. I have about 50 seconds of fuel left, somewhere around there. I'm trying to just get back home and then rearm and then go after the G50. I thought I had enough time. Now obviously battle timer wasn't a problem here. It was more the fact that our ground forces were all artillery and armored cars, which the G50 can kill with his machine guns. So yeah, this battle just ended up being a loss. The G50 took out all our ground targets. The Blenheim wasn't able to get shot down, nor was he able to shoot the G50 down. And yeah, that's basically the battle, guys. Let's go look at the results. 16,491 silver lions. I don't have premium at the moment, is what I meant to say. So I don't get the full bonus of premium, which would have been 24,000 credits. I don't really need them at the moment anyway. 1,000 modification research I don't need as well, because I've completely spaded the Mark IIb. And I've also got 2,275 vehicle research for the Hurricane Mk IV, which I'm nearly complete now. Battle awards: Professional ×5, Shadow Strike Streak ×3, Soft Landing, Savior, Night Fighter Camouflage, Pilot Officer Wiley McKnight, and Terror of the Sky. First place in the team with 5 kills. And I'm the only one in my team besides one guy who actually got a kill. So, yeah, War Thunder low tiers, am I right? Shout out to Boat Captain, who's a very smart player in this game. Really screwed us, really, with the ground, by attacking the ground forces. He doesn't outclass me in research though, so you know, I'm MVP. So yeah, so this is definitely by far my best ever performance in realistic battles, and I'm not even. And you probably noticed that I made quite a few mistakes during that battle as well. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. And if you want to see more War Thunder and more games, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot, guys.